We'll start with the prayers. Om Sahana Bhavato Sahanau Bhunakto Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvi Navaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We are studying Taittriya Bhashyam, the second chapter, Brahmanandavalli. There are 29 anuvakas or 29 verses in the second chapter. Out of that, we have finished 12 verses or 12 anuvakas. We have 17 more verses for this chapter. What we have finished is the first teaching in the first mantra, where the Upanishad gives us a vision. It gives us a vision which is a Shastric vision. It is a scriptural vision. This is the main teaching. The teaching is that there is one common aspect which is called as Sat Chit Ananda. I will be describing to you whatever the Upanishad is saying. Each one of us has to understand this in their own intellect and then get this vision. What is very important is to get this vision properly. It is not easy to get this vision because it is a very, very subtle vision. Normally, our mind is very gross. It is used to seeing gross objects in the universe. We see mountains, we see rivers, we see the earth. All these are objects. We are trying to see who is the subject. What is the nature of that subject which is observing all this? Generally, you will say, my eyes are seeing it, my ears are listening. That is the word. That is what our common sense organs will reveal to us. What Veda tells us is that what the sense organs are reporting to you is experiential, but not factual. Please try to understand these introductory statements which I am making, because I want you to get that vision. And what are the finer aspects of that vision is what I'm trying to explain in the beginning, so that when we do the Bhashyam, you will be able to accept what the commentary is. So the Vedic vision is there is a non-dual Atma or Brahman. Non-dual means what? Like the waker and the dreamer, the dream world, whole dream world, which is pluralistic. Once you get the knowledge that you are the waker, the entire pluralistic world disappears. So similarly, when you get this Vedic vision, Shastric vision, your intellect gets powered by another instrument. That instrument is the Shastra. So you're trying to fix a Shastric eye into your intellect and then seeing what the world is. This is how Shankaracharya explains in Shankara Bhashyam in Mandukya Upanishad. I'm trying to see how we can use that also in our study of Taittriya Upanishad. So what does the vision say? The vision says that The Pancha Kosha, which we are experiencing as the world, through the Annamaya, we see the gross world. Through the Pranamaya, we come to realize there is something called as the Prana Tattva, which keeps this body alive. Through the Manomaya, we experience all our emotions. Through the Vijnanamaya, we say, I am the doer of action, I am the enjoyer of actions and their results. In the Anandamaya Kosha, we say, I am experiencing happiness. All these experiences are with Upadhi, a medium which is called as body, sense organs, and the mind. Upanishad is asking us, can you tell me who are you without this body, without the mind, without the sense organs, without the world? That is the question. Please try to understand the question so that then you will know what the answer is. Then you can fit the answer properly. What is the question? I will repeat again. Who are you? Do you exist or not in your sleep state? Yes. At that time, is there a body for you which you are experiencing? No, I do not experience a body, a physical body. I do not experience any emotions. I do not experience any thoughts. I do not experience the external world because my sense organs are closed. Now the Upanishad is asking, who are you? The answer to that question is, you are Brahman. You are Atma. That is said in the very first verse of this chapter. Now, if that is the reality, if that is the truth, now the Upanishad wants to tell you what are your experiences which you are having in the world. That experiences are in the form of 5 dresses, 5 koshas. That pure I, which is Sat Chit Ananda, is experiencing observing all whatever the sense organs bring it to the consciousness, whatever the mind throws up in consciousness, all these are adhyasa, all these are superimpositions. Upanishad wants us to separate our experiences and then ask the question, who is the experiencer? That experiencer is defined as Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam. The whole Upanishad is only to reveal this Sat Chit Ananda Atma. This observing principle, consciousness principle, is what the Vedic vision about us is. Normally we say, I am a samsari, I am a karta or a bhokta, I am a married person, I am so and so. These are all vyavaharika satyam. These are all relative truth. But the Upanishad is not interested in the relative truth. Upanishad is interested in the absolute truth, which is eternally there. By knowing that eternal truth, I can drop the identification with the body mind and hold on to that vision of the Upanishads. This is the journey of a jiva. This is the journey of a seeker. This is ultimately what the Upanishad wants to convey. Upanishad tells us, teaches us In your mind, you negate, you sublimate the five koshas, and then hold on to this truth as jnanam. I am Chaitanya Swarupaha. Very important sentence in the whole Upanishad is, I am of the nature of consciousness. Everything else is anatma. Atma is what? Consciousness. Atma is existence. These two words you should always remember whenever you want to know who are you. Not easy, but you have to understand the truth. What is factual is being explained in the Upanishads. This vision, you will refine this vision as you study the Upanishads more and more. Especially Shankaracharya's Bhashyam. I recommend everybody to understand the commentary of Mandukya Upanishad, which I'll be starting next year. Even if you can't attend the classes on Sundays, doesn't matter. Just join the group and take the videos of those classes and listen whenever you can. A clear understanding. See, we are doing Shankara Bhashyam of Taittriya Upanishad. This is one way. There is another beautiful way which Shankaracharya brings out in Mandukya. It's a very, very thorough study. It's a very beautiful revelation. In my opinion, Mandukya Bhashyam, if you do and you understand it, even if you don't understand the first time, revisit it, re-listen to it 2, 3, 4 times. Even in this group, there are some people who have done Mandukya Upanishads 6 times already. But still they want to listen because it is so divine. See, you experience divinity when you listen to Shankaracharya's commentary. Okay, with that short introduction, I will now dive into where we stopped last week. The 500th slide, this is the slide where we stopped last week. In this, what we are doing is, we are in the 5th Anuvaka. Okay, we are in the 5th Anuvaka. How many Anuvakas are there? 9 Anuvakas, 9 main topics in the 2nd chapter. Out of that, we are in the 5th topic. There are 4 more other topics. The 5th topic is a big topic. It's a very big topic. It has got 2 main sub-verses. What we are seeing now is the sub-verse, that is the 2nd part of the 5th Anuvaka. The 5th Anuvaka, you see, in Taittriya we call it Anuvaka. When it comes to Mandukya, the commentary there is called as Karika. Okay, there are different names, just another name for a verse. In Taittriya Upanishad, a very unique thing is you get an analysis of happiness. What is happiness? Many a times we hear, I am happy, you are not happy, I am sorrowful. What is this happiness? You will never get the analysis of happiness any other Upanishad except Taittriya Upanishad. Taittriya Upanishad is very unique. It analyzes the happiness in very big detail. There is one section which we will do later on, which is the Ananda Mimamsa section, which is the 8th Anuvaka. We are on the 5th Anuvaka. The 8th Anuvaka is complete analysis of happiness in different lokas. But what is a common thing which we should understand? Happiness, which we experience in our body mind complex, is a reflected happiness. Reflection means what? Exactly like how I experience my face in a mirror. The happiness which is there, which is my swarupa, which is the nature of Atma, that gets reflected in the mind of an individual. So, what we experience is only a fraction of happiness. Even that fraction of happiness makes the jiva live 100 years. And this happiness is graded as three portions: level 1, level 2, level 3. The level 1 is called as Priya. I've already explained this, but I'm just revising it so that we can catch up. Priya, Moda, Pramoda. Level 1 is Priya. I just see an object, I have a desire in my mind, and I'm about to get that object. First level. Second is, I am very near the object, almost having it. Moda. Pramoda is what? I already am enjoying the object. Very simple. You can apply it in any of your happiness experiences in the world. It is graded. If your mind is developed, and if you are able to see as sakshi, as witness, you can see this in yourself. How to maintain this Priya, Moda, Pramoda is our current topic. This will be discussed in the 8th section. You see, this is one of the verses. I pulled it out from there. And it says, what does this verse says? It says that the measure of happiness of a person who knows this Brahman is the highest. This is what will be explained in the 8th chapter, but I'm just trying to explain it slowly. I want you to get used to this, because it is not easy to understand that happiness is what we enjoy is temporary. It is not easy to accept all this, but then slowly you have to understand and how this happiness is enjoyed by us, and what is the nature of the happiness which is our very nature, which is our pure self. So in this verse, in the highest condition of happiness, it's the Upanishad reveals to us that the one who knows this Atma Ananda, his happiness is the highest. And how do you get this happiness? Through Vairagyam. Vairagyam from what? Priya, Moda, Pramoda. You don't have to physically drop all this. In your mind, you say that objects outside are not the source of happiness, but I, the Atma, in my Sattva Guna, whenever my mind is in Sattvic condition, it experiences happiness. So the fulfillment of life, which is called as happiness, comes whenever we are able to increase this Sattva Guna in our mind. And how do we destroy the Tamoguna? Tamoguna means these are all the qualities of the mind. Not easy to understand, but this is how the scriptures define our mind. So through 4 areas, that means Shraddha, Tapas, Upasana, and Brahmacharya. These are the 4 ways in which we can develop Sattva Guna. Shraddha, we all know. Shraddha means faith. Faith in the scriptures. What is the meaning of faith in the scriptures? Faith means it's The Upanishad tells me you drop things in the world and you will experience better happiness. Because what you get from the world is temporary happiness. At the end of our experience, we always feel a gap. We always feel a wanting, a new wanting. I want something better. I want something better. That is why the Upanishad says that drop your, in your mind, have faith, Shraddha in the Upanishad, which says, I am the ultimate source of happiness. Tapas is the different types of sacrifices which we do. That also helps in destroying the tamoguna, like fasting, not speaking for a day. Some people do it. They say on Wednesdays, I will not speak to anybody. That is possible only if you are a retired person. Very simple tapas for all of us is I will not look at my mobile for half an hour, 30 minutes. That is a big tapas in today's world. Upasana Vidya is also helps in building up sattvic guna. Brahmacharya means you take the life of brahmachari. These are the ways in which we can develop sattva guna. Chapter 14 of Bhagavad Gita is an extremely important chapter when you talk about gunas of the mind. Tatra sattvam nirmalatva prakashamanamapyam sukha sangena bhatnati jnana sangena chanakha. This is a verse from Bhagavad Gita, 14th chapter. It describes in one verse what is sattva, what is rajas, and what is tamoguna. Sattva means it is luminous, unbroken consciousness, illumination in your mind. What is rajas? Rajas is attachment. The moment you're attached to an object, your mind will start projecting. Oh, that I should have. I will get happiness when I possess that object. When my son gets married, when my daughter gets into college, all that is a projection of your mind. Of course, it is a reality in the Vyavaharika state, and you do become happy. What it says is these are all Rajoguna, which is happening in your mind. And what is Tamoguna? Jnana Sangena Chanaga, Sukha Sangena Badnati. That means you get attached to this Sukham. That is what is the problem. Tamoguna is the sleep happiness which you get in sleep. So what Vedanta says is there is Brahma Ananda, which is like the sunlight. It is always there. So in your mind, the way you should understand is, as I am in my real nature, I am always happy. But what happens? Why does the body mind experience this sorrow or joy? That is because of prarabdha karma. This discrimination you should make. My mind is undergoing a sorrow. My mind is undergoing joy in the world of contact. When my sense organs are in contact with the sense objects, when my mind is in touch with the world, I get some sort of a sukham, that is reflected ananda. Like in a mirror, you can get sunlight reflected. Similarly, happiness is reflected in our mind. Whose happiness? That happiness which belongs to Brahman, which we discussed in the first verse. That, you see, there we said Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma Ananda, Satyam Sat Chit Ananda. So Vishaya Ananda is what gives Sukham, but Jnani knows that that is not my real joy. What is the real joy? My own joy, without any attachment to Vishayas, is what the Jnani appreciates as the happiness. What about Ajnani? People like us, what do we think? We think that Vishaya Ananda is the ultimate. Vishaya Ananda means what? The happiness lies in the objects in the world. And when I possess those objects, I get happiness. That is our normal happiness which we experience. But this is also coming from Brahma Ananda because it is a reflection. Then Shankaracharya continues. These are all Shankaracharya's commentaries. And in these commentaries, you will find his explanations described. So when you are going through the notes, my suggestion is go through these slides, which gives the verse and the commentary, and then read through it and see what is the central gist of this bhashya. See, for each verse in the Upanishad, Shankaracharya has written 10, 15 verses like this. So that is why Upanishad Shankara Bhashyam takes a long time. Here in this verse, Shankaracharya quotes this Brihadaranyaka Upanishad and also Taittriya Upanishad, the 7th section, where he says the source of Ananda is only Atma. At any time, Atma means what? It is myself. And I can increase or decrease of my reflected Ananda, but I cannot increase or decrease my original Ananda. Atma alone is the Ananda. Vishaya Ananda does not exist. According to Taittriya Upanishad, it doesn't exist at all. It is only a reflection. Reflection means what? It will appear, it will disappear. What appears and disappears is called as mithya, false. So in Taittriya Upanishad, it says that before all this world was created, there was this Atma which was existent, but the world was non-existent. And even the joy of breathing in the 7th section, which is the Anandamaya Kosha, Anandamaya analysis, there also it says that even there is joy coming from children, grandchildren. All of you must be experiencing this. It also is actually a reflection of our own Ananda. The whole, suppose we experience joy coming from eating something, smelling something, seeing forms and colors. All that is a reflected Ananda. And knowing this fact that it is all reflected Ananda, that gives me the Nitya Ananda Sukha. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad says that there is nothing in the world except me, and that me is this Satchidananda Atma. Knowing this Atma makes me having the greatest Ananda in the universe. A small portion of that Brahmananda gets reflected in the objects and beings. What is Bimba Ananda? What is Pratibimba? I've given a small paragraph here. Bimba Ananda means reflected. Bimba means original. Pratibimba means reflected. How do I separate? How do I come to know this? Bimba Ananda is acquired by Jnana. When you study the Upanishads, you will get Bimba Ananda. Suppose you study and you understand the Atma very thoroughly and the world as a Mithya product, Karyam. What is the Karanam? I. The consciousness is the Karanam. Suppose your intellect is able to accept this 100% without any doubt, then you would acquire Bimba Ananda. Your joy of the self is called as Bimba Ananda. It is not experiential, it is Swarupa. What do you mean by experiential Ananda? Whenever the mind is involved, all the sense organs are involved, body is involved, sense objects and the world is involved, it is called as Pratibimba Ananda. So Bimba Ananda I can only claim as the self. By having Vairagyam, Vairagya means I withdraw. By withdrawal process, I can claim Ananda as my real nature. Pratibimba, see, these are all very deep analysis done by Shankaracharya. See, normally when we read verses of Upanishad, we won't go into such depth of analysis of happiness. And these are all facts. It is not some stray statements and all which Shankaracharya is putting, but they are all facts. Some of these facts I may not accept it. My intellect doesn't have the strength today to accept it. But when I keep listening to the same Upanishadic analysis again and again, the mind changes. The mind transforms and it is able to accept. There are many things which the Upanishad I have heard 25 years ago. At that time, I couldn't accept many things, especially this Ananda, that happiness is your own, Atma Ananda. And happiness in the world is a reflected Ananda. This is very, very subtle topic. Continuing, Pratibimba Ananda is acquired by experience. Experiential happiness is a lower form of happiness. It is acquired by setting up the world as per my desires. This is one way of acquiring it. The second way, which is described in Annapurna Stotram, is through Vairagyam, I can get the same happiness. Annapurna Stotram here is quoted here. Grant us the alms for the sake of securing knowledge and detachment. What you pray to the God is, let me have Vairagyam from the universe. Why? Because I want Bimba Ananda. I'm interested in Nitya Sukham. I don't want my happiness, joy to be broken. One day happy, another 7 days I'm unhappy. I've spent all the money, therefore now I have to again become unhappy. Again I get Sukham. Money gives us happiness, world gives us, things and beings give us happiness, but they also, when they go away, they give us sorrow. That is the nature of the waking state. Taittriya Upanishad is trying to reveal to us what do we experience in this waking state. In the sleep state, everything is gone. Dream state, there is another set of experiences. Okay, then this verse is a verse from the 8th section, which I will do later on. Ananda Mimamsa is Ananda of different lokas and how each, this is the 8 section description of each, in each loka, the happiness increases by 100-fold. In the Bhuloka, Bhuvarloka, Suvarloka, they are all different higher lokas. Lokas means realms of experiences for a jiva to go and be a bhokta in those realms. Okay, next verse from Shankaracharya here. What he says is, don't forget that Brahman is the adhishtanam for happiness in any loka. Brahman means what? Satchidananda Swarupa. It is a adhishtanam. Without the adhishtanam, there cannot be any loka also. So that is what he's trying to explain in this verse here. So now with this Ananda Atma commentary is over. Brahma Pucham Pratishtha is now taken up. Brahma Pucham Pratishtha means what? Brahman is the basis. It is on which the entire Ananda of this entire universe rests. Okay. How infinite Brahman is a small part of Anandamaya. That is the mantra which we normally have for meditation purposes. We say that Brahman is the left side, right side, all that which we have seen before. Similar verses are taken up. So, like for example, to reveal the rope, we say that the snake is born out of rope, sustained by rope, resolves into rope, right? Rope snake. But what is the adhishtanam? Rope is the adhishtanam. So in meditation, what we have to say is all the joy from the world. This is a particular verse which comes in the Upanishad. It says that you meditate like this. The joy which comes from the world is the lower part of Brahman. For the knowledge of Brahman alone, the Pancha Koshas are presented. See, why are we studying this Brahman and the 5 Koshas? The 5 Koshas, we are all experiencing it. It is not for revealing the Pancha Koshas. Why we are studying Pancha Koshas is Annamaya is dependent on this pure consciousness. Pranamaya is dependent on pure consciousness. It is the substratum, Pucham. It is the unenclosed happiness. Enclosed happiness means it is there in our mind. But suppose I say there is happiness, but it is not in your mind. That is what is called as unenclosed happiness. Now, this is not, it is only revealed by the Upanishad. Unenclosed happiness is belonging to Atma. But my eyes cannot see it, but it is the Upanishad which reveals us. Therefore, this is what is called as the Upanishadic Sastric vision. Okay. 5 features of Ananda, like we have 5 features of Sat. It is not a part of the body. It is not the, like existence is not a part of the body. Consciousness is not a part of the body. Similarly, we say Ananda, happiness, is not a part, product, or property of the mind. This Priya Moda Pramoda or Vrittis, Vrittis means thoughts, which are generated in the mind. Only when the conditions are outside are good, suppose you're seeing a bad movie, then you won't get very great happiness. If you're seeing very nice movie on a TV, then you will be happy. Suppose you see Swiss mountains, your mind will become very happy. Or suppose you see a horror movie, it will not be happiness. So Priya Moda Pramoda is thoughts in the mind which come when the conditions are ideal. Ananda, see, this is the type of analysis which I call it as deep analysis of happiness. You don't get anywhere else in any other Upanishad except here. Ananda is an independent principle. It pervades and makes the mind happy. Ananda is a independent. You see, it's so subtle, it's so abstract. But our mind has to try to understand this so that we get a Shastric vision of my real nature. Ananda is not limited by the boundary of the mind. Which Ananda is this? Bimba Ananda, not Pratibimba Ananda. Here we are talking about Bimba Ananda, the 5 features of Bimba Ananda. This Bimba Ananda continues to exist even after the Anandamaya Kosha gets dissolved. That is why we say, I was very happy in sleep state. Why were you happy? That is one of the questions which Shankaracharya says. To prove that our nature is our nature is happiness. He says that all of us universally will say that we were happy during our sleep state. Without any conditions. Nothing was there, but still I was happy. The same thing he says, that it is possible to live the whole life being attached to this Atma Ananda as our Swarup. I don't miss anything in life. Suppose you start understanding this from Atma standpoint, not from the world, body, mind standpoint, but you can live in this world with this analysis. The Atma Ananda is without Priya Moda Pramoda Vrittis. The vrittis are not accessible to us because there is no medium of the mind when I am with Bimba Ananda. That Anandamaya is Brahman. Relative happiness is Priya Moda. Pramoda. Absolute happiness is understanding that I am of the nature of consciousness. That will give me complete happiness and fulfillment. Okay, so these are some revision exercises which I will not do. Bhashyam, okay, this is also I have explained that the real happiness is of the Brahman alone. This is just all revisions, yeah. Upanishad keeps on repeating again and again that Brahman alone is the unenclosed infinite happiness, and what we experience in life is only small fraction of that happiness. This helps in understanding, this helps in our meditation. Suppose you want to meditate on happiness. These are the things which will help us when you contemplate on this. There is an analysis whether this happiness which we experience, is it independent or is it dependent? The dependent happiness is what we experience in the world. Independent happiness is our nature. That is what Shankaracharya is trying to say in this analysis. And why I don't understand this? Suppose you ask the question, oh, if this is my Swarupam, nature, how come I don't experience this? It is how come I don't know this? So there, Shankaracharya in this particular verse, this is all Bhashyam. This is Bhashyam of Shankaracharya. Here he says that what we project in the universe is because of original ignorance which is called as Mula Avidya. This is because we don't know our real nature, we think there is an experiential joy in the world. That is why, that is what he's saying. Why we don't know our nature is because we project the happiness in the world. Suppose I stop projecting there is happiness in the world, you will be automatically with this Atmanam. That is what he's saying in this particular verse. Okay, then he talks about how Brahman exists, Brahman doesn't exist. That analysis he takes up, and Taittriya Upanishad, this one, in the sixth Anuvaka, it says, this is the introduction verse. This particular verse, which is in the slide which you see, is an introduction. Shankaracharya has got a very beautiful way of writing commentary. Before he takes the next commentary of the next verse, he will give you an introduction. You will experience this when we do the Mandukya Upanishad. Mandukya Upanishad, for every verse, he will first give an introduction. And then he will give the full description of his comments on the actual mantra. Now here in this, what he is saying is the next verse is this one. Asanneva sa bhavati. This is the Rig mantra of the Taittriya Upanishad. You see, in Taittriya Upanishad, they take the quotation from Rig mantra, Rig Veda mantra. Rig Veda is a source book for, that's what some of the commentators, rishis have said. It is a source book for all the Vedas. It is the oldest Veda. Which is the oldest Veda? Rig Veda. So here he says in this particular mantra that one who knows that Brahman is existent, then he is the one who can get rid of his kosha. Suppose you say that Brahman there is nothing called as Atma and Brahman. Then what happens? Then you are not benefited from the knowledge of the Veda. That is what Shankaracharya says. And of course, the Upanishad is giving this meaning. Mithya always borrows existence from Satya. How do I understand this? Rope, snake cannot exist without rope. Rope lends existence to Mithya, rope, snake. Similarly, this entire Dvaita experience, pluralistic experience, cannot be there without the lender of existence to this world. See, we say the world is existing, I'm experiencing all this. What Upanishad is trying to say is the easiness in the world and the consciousness, the awareness by which I become aware of this world is Brahman. This is slightly abstract, but try to pick it up, because this is where the key to opening up the Atma comes up. Dvaita Prapa, I'll repeat again. Whenever we experience the world, in all our waking state experiences, we are experiencing, right now you're all experiencing the world. Now, from this world, what Upanishad says is, the easiness, I am experiencing this talk, I'm listening to this talk, that easiness, it is there, it is there, it is there. That belongs to Atma, that belongs to Brahman. What I experience, the sound and this belongs to the world. That is what the Upanishad is trying to teach us. Similarly, the sound which I hear is not conscious itself. It is consciousness which reveals the sound or the form or the taste which we experience. the knower of Brahman attains the supreme. That's what we said in this is the root verse. Don't forget this first verse of the Upanishad, because on this verse only the whole analysis of the second chapter lies. The Upanishad wants to reveal this truth, Brahman as the truth, as the Adhishtanam for the entire Panchakoshas. And what is this Brahman? It is Vilakshana, Panchakosha Vilakshana Brahman. Panchakosha Adhishtanam Brahma. Panchakosha Sakshi Brahma. These are all different words, but they are trying to reveal the same truth. There is no physical distance between consciousness and the world. The distance is only intellectual. I think there is something I will experience later when I become wise person. That is a normal notion. See, this is like all seekers. We all think that one day I will be very, my mind will become pure, and then I will understand this. But the fact is what? Right now itself, I am that pure consciousness. I don't know it, but that is what is the fact. My real nature is consciousness. All experiences is what? Anatma. That is how I have to understand Upanishad. Experientially, I will still continue, but it is the vision in my intellect which will change. Okay, there is, now we are going to the sixth Anuvaka. We are getting in there. The sixth Anuvaka, it means it is a sixth section. There are totally 9 sections, I told you. And this is, I've already explained to you the gist of it with the help of that introductory verse. I've explained to you the gist of this 6th section. And the same message comes from Taittriya Upanishad also in the 2nd chapter, 5th verse of Taittriya Upanishad. What it says is that the one who knows Ihached Avedi Atha Satyam Asti. Suppose you see, normally we are not introduced to something like this. It is something unique. For you and me, it is something new. Who has told us about Brahman? No, none of our parents have told us. None of our teachers in school have told us. But it is only the Guru who comes and teaches us this Brahma Vidya. So if you don't know, Upanishad says that it's a great destruction of your life. And the wise one is the one who knows this art. And by knowing this, what do I get? He becomes immortal. See, the immortality is not physical immortality. Body will die. Body will go away. Mind will change. Mortality means what? Change. Change in perception. I don't see the body of somebody else who has gone. I don't see it because the body is seeing it. But as Atma, that person is still there. If he knew that I am Atma, and I also know I am Atma, I am always there. When the world is there, without Atma, there is no world. That is what the Upanishad is revealing to me. Therefore, knowing this Brahman as myself gives me immortality. See, we have dharma and adharma. But dharma means it is also for chitta shuddhi. Why do I lead a noble life in this world? All of us, we try to lead a dharmic life. We drop the adharma and live a dharmic life. What benefit do I get out of living this dharmic life? The benefit is I get chitta shuddhi. Chitta shuddhi means what? Purity of mind. Only when I have this chitta shuddhi, I will enter into Atma Jnana. Okay? Bhagavad Gita in the 16th chapter, it says, the basis of this entire world is this truth. What is the truth? It is the Adhishtanam truth of Brahman. Relevance of Dharma is only in the context of moksha prapti. Suppose there was no moksha in this world, nobody would be dharmic in life. All of us, by nature, we are dharmic because our goal in our life is to attain moksha. Attain moksha means what? Attain the liberation from identifying the body is real, world is real. What the Upanishad is revealing, the consciousness is real. World is fleeting. That is why it is a changing phenomena. But changing phenomena will require changeless Atma. Okay? The nature of consciousness also comes in the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. We don't see the root. Urdhva mola madashakam ashwattam prahuravyayam chandamsi yasya parnani yastam veda savedavit. See, in the 15th chapter, 13, 14, 15 are three Vedantic chapters of Bhagavad Gita. The second chapter, 13th chapter, 14, 15, 7 and 9. That's all. These are the 6 chapters in Bhagavad Gita. If you want to know the truth, where is the truth revealed in these 6 chapters? It tells us how to see that. Here in this verse of the Bhagavad Gita, it says that this tree of samsara, whatever the world, Jiva Jagat Ishvara, which we are experiencing, the root is Brahman, which we can't see. My sense organ, that is why I keep on saying that the sense organs will continue to show the finite world only. Veda will give us the vision of the infinite, timeless consciousness. Okay, so as you listen, you will get a peep into that consciousness, and then it is a question of holding on to that as your real nature. See, when we listen to Upanishads again and again, what happens is, in some of these talks, you will come to know, oh, this is consciousness. This is consciousness. You will get it. I'm sure each one of you listening, when you see, this happens to all who listen to Upanishads. When they're listening in the sessions itself, they get a glimpse of that Atma. But our intellect fails to hold that as our real nature. Veda says non-perception of Atma is not the proof of non-existence. Non-perception. Why does the Veda say this? Because perception is only relevant with reference to the body. What exists is Atma, for which the proof is only from the Veda. For example, all of us, we take a conclusion that I exist in sleep. But we are not perceptible in sleep. We are not perceptible. Why people doubt the existence of Brahman but will accept Akasha? They accept Akasha because Akasha is also you can't perceive. That is the question which Shankaracharya is asking, that you should accept this pure Brahman, existence of this Brahman, otherwise you will not be able to get moksha. Astika and Nastika. Astika means that that Brahman exists. Nastika means Brahman doesn't exist. So all this is just an analysis of this one verse, which is the sixth section, and why people like accept the existence, don't accept the existence. There's a very detailed analysis here. I'm not going to very big detail. You can read if you're interested in some of the topics. You can just read the notes are all with you. You can read the notes to understand how Shankaracharya ultimately convinces us of something which is existing, but which our sense organs or the mind cannot perceive. See, this is a challenge which all of us will face when you come to Vedanta, when you come to the study of Upanishads. What Upanishad is revealing is beyond the senses and beyond the mind. But it exists. Factually, it is there. That is you should have. That is why they say Shraddha is extremely important. Which Shraddha you can cross over. Here Shankaracharya is asking why there is a possibility of non-existence of Brahman. One of the reasons is he says Brahman is avyavaharya. Avyavaharya means what? Brahman is not relevant. It doesn't come into transactions. What is the definition of Brahman? Ashabdam, asparsham, agocharam. That means it is not coming in the purview of sense organs. That is why Shankaracharya says it is very difficult for seekers to accept the existence of Brahman. Vyavaharika prapancha is a karyam. It is not a karanam. Karanam is Brahman. From that Brahman only, this whole world has come about that we have seen in the first verse of the Upanishad. Whatever is available, what does my intellect conclude? Intellect concludes, this is what Shankaracharya, this is how Shankaracharya explains to us. Why it is difficult for us to accept something called as Brahman, which the Upanishad is revealing, but my mind is having obstacles to accept. The orientation of our intellect, the habituation is all caused because of samskara. We are born with samskaras, impressions in our mind. And what does the samskara tells us? Whatever is available for vyavahara is existence. Whatever is not available for vyavahara is non-existent. Very simple. I mean, I see if something is there in front of me, it is existent. If it is something not, I don't see means it is non-existent. That is the normal way the intellect concludes. So the anumanam is, anyway, this is all a little bit of analysis on the logical side. God does not exist because I don't see him, because I can't locate him. Upanishad says, if you accept Brahman, God, what is the consequence? That is what Shankaracharya analyzes. Okay, if you don't accept, we know that you can never get moksha. You will always be in samsara. You will always have joy and sorrow. You will not know how to come out of this joy and sorrow. Therefore, Shankaracharya says, you must continue to accept Brahman. If you want to come out of sorrow, accept this. And then you see the benefit. This is an analysis which Shankaracharya has done. It will help seekers who do not accept the existence of God or existence of this higher nature. Every jnani exists as Brahman Swarupa Paramarthika Swarupa. Every jnani, for example, all jnanis who know this Brahman, they are the ones who teach others. So he says, accept it and move forward. That is a very simple. That is the ultimate. That is the what ultimately in this section, the whole section, Shankaracharya says. If a person doesn't accept the Brahman, what happens? Then he will not accept the Veda. He will not accept Karma Yoga, Upasana Yoga, Jnana Yoga. He will never get into Bhagavad Gita study. And why do we do this study? For Brahma Prapti. So, scientists can't prove God, they can't prove Brahman, they can't prove Swarga, they can't prove Narakam also. But what proves Sarga, what proves Brahman ultimately is the Shastra. Okay? So, first understand Veda is the Pramana. Veda. That is why, you see, it's like eyes. Like how through the eyes, with the help of eyes, we say, yes, this is existing. Similarly, what Shankaracharya says is, accept that this is a Paurusheya Pramanam. Veda is not a Purusha Pramanam. What are the Purusha Pramanams? Anumanam. These are all, Anumanam means inference, our sense organs. If you try to go through prism, there are different sources of knowledge. But this one, Veda, is a Paurusheya Pramanam. Aparusha means it is not human. It is divine. Vivek Chudamani, there's a very famous verse of Vivek Chudamani, the second verse of Vivek Chudamani. It says, Jantu Nam Narajanma Durlabhatha. That means that getting a human birth itself is rare. Very difficult to get human birth because you need punyam to become a human being. Otherwise, you will be born as lower creatures. You need, with the help of punyam only, you come into this human janma. And Vivek Chudamani is a text written by Shankaracharya. What he says is the ultimate, the ultimate goal of every human being should be to understand what is real in this world, what is unreal in this world. Unreal is all our experiences, but real thing is this pure Brahman. In Vivek Chudamani, it takes a Viveka Chudamani. Viveka means what? Discrimination. He discriminates what is real. Real there means what? Atma. Satchidananda Atma. What is unreal? Jiva Jagat Ishvara, which constitute the world, is unreal with reference to the Atma. To come to Vaidika Marga, you come with Veda Purva and Veda Anta portions. Yatha pravarti bhutanam ena sarvamidam tatham swakarmana tamapyascha siddhim vindati manavaha. In the 18th chapter, towards the end of the teaching and the end of Gita, Lord Krishna says, try to come to this perfection in human life by doing your duty. Always do your duty, because first we are born because of karma phala. We have to go through our duty and enjoy whatever is karma phalam which is there in our account. We have to accept it and follow. As you keep doing your duty, your mind will grow and it will become pure and pure. So much so that one day it will ask for this Atma Vidya. it is a nature of the mind to push to become pure and pure every day. So the study of Upanishad never goes waste. You will always find a joy in this study. And you will say that I enjoyed listening to the scriptures because it helps in purifying a mind. There is no other way of purifying your mind. By doing a lot of karma, again and again, doing actions in the world, your mind will not get purer. It will do vyavahar. But purity comes from jnanam. Jnanam means what? Atma jnana. Going after artha, kama, brahmacharya avastha, in the brahmacharya ashrama, people, there is artha kama. Grihastha also has artha kama as the goals. Vanaprastha is where one gets into upasana. Vanaprastha means after 60 years. Sannyasa means it is an ashrama exclusively for the study of Upanishads. Exclusively. Vanaprastha and sannyasa are the nivritti margas. Pravritti margas means you get into activity, learning, enjoying the world, earning money. These are all activities. But what is the Vedic view of all this? The Vedic view says all activities are towards you trying to reach the goal of moksha. Whether you know it or not, ultimately we are all in the path of spiritually growing when we are born. Shraddhavan Labate Jnanam, the 4th chapter, it talks more about the faith. The one who has faith, he's the one who attains higher things in life. Ashraddha, Ajnana, what happens to the ignorant people? Ignorant means who are not exposed to the Veda. They will fail in dharma. Without this Shraddha, you cannot progress in life. That is what Bhagavad Gita says. These are some of the verses. Rig Mantra say, see, all this is connected with faith. There's a lot of, this is all this details of some of the explanations of this particular verse, which is this verse. This is the main verse. Asanneva Bhavati is the main sixth section verse. And the 6th section has 3 verses. This is the first verse. This is the 2nd verse of the 6th chapter of the 6th Anuvaka. There are, I told you, 3 verses. This is the 2nd verse. What is the 2nd verse in the Upanishad? It says, does the ignorant leaving this world reach Brahman, or does the knower leaving this world reach Brahman? See, this is another question which the Upanishad throws up. Who reaches Brahman? Answer is very clear. The one who knows Brahman reaches Brahman. But then this is an analysis. Tasya Purvasya, that means for Vijnanamaya Kosha, we said that Anandamaya Kosha is the self. Now, who is the inner self of Vijnanamaya Kosha, Anandamaya Kosha? That's what we said. Now, why Anandamaya Kosha is not the Atma? Because Anandamaya Kosha is the causal body. It is not the ultimate truth. Okay, this aspect we have already seen, existence and non-existence of Brahman. Okay, there is an analysis of why this Anandamaya is not Atma. It's a very big analysis which Shankaracharya takes up. If you go through the notes, you will be able to see why Shankaracharya says that Anandamaya Kosha is not Atma. In simple terms, what I can tell you is that Anandamaya is a Kosha, it is not Atma, and that is analyzed. I will probably take it up in the next session. Okay, so here we will stop, and then next week we will start with this analysis. We'll start with this, say, 567th slide. Okay, so with this, I will stop today's session, and we will continue with the analysis. See, this Anandamaya Kosha is a long topic in Taittriya Upanishad. And this is the last kosha. See, after Anandamaya is the self. So many people have doubt. Anandamaya means what? It is the causal body. We have seen the Sthula Shariram, Sukshma Shariram. Sthula Shariram is the Annamaya kosha. Sukshma Shariram is the Pranamaya. Three koshas are there. Prana, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya. The last kosha, Anandamaya kosha, is the causal body. It is the Karana Sharira. This is the last Upadhi before we know who we are. Okay, so we'll study this section, the second portion and the third portion of this sixth section. Like I told you, there are three more sections, 6, 7. After you finish 6, there are 3 more sections. The main thing in the 6th section is the self is not Anandamaya Kosha. It is a separate, independently existing principle. That is what is mentioned in the 6th section. The 7th section is Aikyam, oneness between the self, between the Jiva and the Ishvara, oneness between me, the Jiva and the Jagat. There is oneness. The oneness is explained in the 7th mantra, Anvaka. 8th mantra is a complete analysis. There are 11 sections. There are 11 mantras in the 8th section, which is what is called as Mimamsa, happiness, the analysis of happiness. And the last section of this chapter is Jivan Mukta. Okay, so these are the 4-5 sections which we have to do before we close this chapter 1. Okay, so we have finished the kosha portion by and large. I will take up this analysis briefly in the coming sessions with Shankaracharya Bhashyam. See, the main thing is we are studying the Bhashyam, how Shankaracharya has analyzed the Upanishadic sentences, Upanishadic words. It is only through the Bhashyam we come to know what is the essence behind this teaching. We should never forget the essence. Essence is there is something called as consciousness awareness. That is my truth. That is my real nature. What about the experiences which I'm going through in life? These are all there, but they are not fact. they are mithya. Mithya means it is experienceable, but it is not factual. This distinction only by the study of Upanishads we come to. Normally, without Upanishads, what we will be thinking that our experiences are factual. There is nothing called as God. There is nothing called as consciousness. That is our normal life experiences. We believe whatever we experience is the ultimate truth. Upanishad gives us the teaching that the ultimate truth is not visible. It cannot be known by the sense organs. It can be known only through a pramanam, which is a paurusheya pramanam. It is nothing to do with the Purusha. It is revealed by the Veda. Okay, we'll continue this study. It's very, very deep, but study of this type of analysis helps us to grow our mind. It also helps us to understand the world better. Even in our normal day-to-day life, we'll have clarity in thinking. These are all the sub effects of our Upanishadic study. Okay, so we'll start from 564 next week, and we'll continue our study. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachade Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyade. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Okay, there are a couple of questions in the chat box. I will answer those questions first, and then we will open up for discussions. If you have any questions, you can ask them. Okay, the first question is, please elaborate Advaitam and Visishta Advaitam. Good question. The answer to this is found in Brahma Sutra. Brahma Sutra, the second chapter of Brahma Sutra, gives full analysis of all the philosophers. Nyaya, Vaiseshika. There are 6 different schools. In the olden times, there were 6 schools. And each one had their own philosophy taken up from the Veda only, but they interpreted the Veda in a different. What is common to all these other schools? This is one fact which is common. What is common to all other philosophers, including other philosophers, like Christianity, Buddhism, so many other philosophers, Islam, all other sciences, philosophers, all of them, they say there is Dvaita, including Visishtadvaita. Visishtadvaita is slightly better than all other philosophers because at least they give a qualification to Dvaita. So the first fundamental thing you should understand is everybody talks about, including Visishtadvaitam, they say Dvaitam is the reality. This is a very fundamental point for everybody. As we grow more and more, we understand the Upanishads. As you grow deeper into the Upanishads, you should try to understand what is the main difference between other philosophers and us. The main philosophy is the experiences which we go through, according to Advaitam, they are mithya. Mithya means false. What is Satyam? Satyam means The observer, the consciousness principle is the Satyam. First point. Second point we should notice, Satyam can exist independently. The consciousness can exist independently. But the world, which is mithya, cannot exist independently. These are two fundamental things. Let your mind experiment this truth. You must experiment this truth in your own mind. Contemplate. Experiment means what? In your own mind, you come to realize the truth which the Veda is saying. Is the world which I'm experiencing, is it only there fleetingly? Fleeting means what? It is there temporarily. It is there, it is not there again. Again, it is there, and again, it is not. It disappears. Where is the question you should ask is, all these years which I have lived, is it really there, or is it just an experience for a jiva who is there in this body? I have experienced birth, death. I mean, I've experienced birth, I've experienced growth, I've experienced all this marriage and so on. I've experienced everything I'm experiencing. Now, the question is, this is all Dvaitam. Experiences are Dvaitam. What is the meaning of Dvaitam? The mind is there, body is experienced, mind is experienced, and then the sense organs and the world is experienced. All experiences are Dvaitam. Dvaitam means there is mind, sense organs, sense objects. That is what is called as Dvaitam. What is Advaitam? Advaitam says the conscious observer, Atma, is the reality. See, first you should understand Advaitam first. Then you can understand Visishta Advaitam next. And all other, once you see, that is why they say, Acharyas, the teachers, they say, try to understand Advaitam first. Understand from Bhagavad Gita. Go through the Bhagavad Gita again and again. You try to understand the central concept of Bhagavad Gita. Central concept of each Upanishad. Suppose you're doing Mandukya Upanishad or you're doing Taittriya Upanishad. We have done Kaivalya Upanishad, we have done Mundaka Upanishad, we have done Keno Upanishad. In each of these Upanishad, what is the essence? The essence, according all this essence, the conclusion comes in Brahma Sutra. See, Shankaracharya writes a commentary of Brahma Sutra, like he has written commentary of this Taittriya Upanishad. There, in the commentary of Shankaracharya, especially in the first chapter, first 4 sutras, suppose you say, I have done Upanishadic study, then you should go to the first 4 sutras of the first chapter of Brahma Sutra. That will make your study of Upanishads complete. In those 4 sutras, what he says is the central message of Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, is Advaitam. Advaita means I alone am there as consciousness. The world which I experience is fleeting. It is coming and going, but I will remain always as consciousness. I am immortal. I am not the mortal body. I am not the mortal mind or the mortal world. Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara is changing, fleeting, mortal. It is changing. Mortal means what? It keeps on changing. For example, in the sleep state, I am there. Who is that I which is experiencing no world, no body, no mind, no ahamkara, no mamakara? Who is experiencing? I am the experiencer, that I which is experiencing no world and also this world. Hold on to that I as the Advaitam principle. Advaitam is non-dual. Complete analysis of this word Advaitam. This Advaitam word comes in Mandukya Upanishad 7th mantra. Complete analysis is given by Shankaracharya there. What is this non-dual Atma? That is the central, this one word Advaitam is the central word on which the entire Mandukya is written, whole Upanishad and all the Karikas. Coming back to your question, what is the difference between Visishta Advaitam and Advaitam? Visishta Advaitam is believing in Dvaitam. It is a Dvaita philosophy. It doesn't believe in Advaitam. Advaitam I have explained to you now. What is Visishta Advaitam? Visishta Advaitam says there is God, there is Ishvara, and there is Jiva. Jiva can never be Ishvara. That is Visishta. What does Advaitam says? Jiva is nothing but Brahman. What does Visishta Advaitam says? Jiva is Jiva. It is always limited. It can never be God. This is Visishta Advaitam. Ramanujacharya, he has given explanations of the Bhagavad Gita with reference to this matam. So what he has done is, he interprets and says that you can never have moksha by this bhava that I am Brahman. According to Visishta Advaitam, moksha is, first of all, you have to go to Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha is a loka. There you have to go, and there also you can enjoy moksha, but as a part of that Ishwar. Not independently. It is a dependent on Ishwar. You're always a dasa. I am always a devotee. Lord is always the Prabhu. So there is Visishta Advaitam is a part of Advait. I wouldn't say part of Advaitam, but it is one of the who believe in God, who believe in the existence of Brahman, who believes in the but their God is with gunas. I mean, I'm going to a depth of Visishta Advaitam. Vishnu, or according to them, Lord Vishnu is the ultimate creator of this universe, and we are all parts of that small sparks of that Ishvara. We have small Shaktis, but Ishvara is the ultimate, who has got, who is omniscient, omnipotent, and so on. And Visishta means what? It is Lord with attributes. Brahman with attributes. What Advaitam says, that is correct. It is there. But it is, Ishvara is there. It is there, but it is still a part of the world. Again, I'm saying, come to Mandukya Upanishad talks. If you are really interested to understand Jaya Prakasha, you should go a little bit deeper. But of course, the best is Mandukya for you. But simple text you can see in the scriptures or in the YouTube and all that. It is basically, you should understand, it is Dvaita philosophy. Okay, and whereas Advaitam is non-dual philosophy. According to Advaitam, they say that Visishta Advaitam will never give moksha, according to Advaitam. But Visishta Advaitam people will say Advaitam will never give moksha. So there's always a conflict, but then depends on who you are, how much you want to study, and whatever you accepted. You see, ultimately you have to the whole exercise, the whole study of spiritual study. What acharyas have, teachers have told us is study this one methodology perfectly. And then you study like Brahma Sutra, where they will give you all the pros and cons of all other philosophies. Your mind will be able to appreciate it much better because you're standing on a rock which is solid. If your mind is very confused, and then you try to analyze all philosophy, you'll then get more confused. Okay, so I'll put an end to that question here. Manikandan is asking, if Brahmananda is not enclosed in mind, how Jivan Mukti can happen? Brahmananda is not enclosed in mind. How Jivan Mukti can happen? You see, first of all, you should understand Jivan Mukti means you are outside the mind. There's no more mind. There is no inside, outside when you are Brahman. Brahman is all pervading. That is, it pervades. See, one of the things you should remember is this principle: transcendent and immanent. This is only in the case of Brahman. Right now, is Brahman there? Yes. It is there in all our states. At the same time, this Brahman can exist without the states also. Transcendent means it is beyond the mind. Immanent means it is with the mind. Only this feature, if you understand correctly, then moksha is very easy. So Brahma Ananda means what? It is unenclosed Ananda. First thing you should know, what is Brahma Ananda? It is Ananda which belongs to Brahman. Can it be experienced? It cannot be experienced. It can be only claimed. I am that Swarupa, nature. It is possible. Because the moment you say, I will experience it, you are making it as an object. You can never make Brahmananda as an object for you to experience it. Experience means understanding that this Brahmananda is my real nature. I am of the nature. Pure consciousness is of the nature of bliss. That bliss is got nothing to do with the mind. It is always existing. It is always conscious. It is always blissful. That is my real nature. Why I am not able to, why do I experience everything else in the world, but not that bliss, is because of punya papam, prarabdha karma, which decides your thoughts in the mind. Every day we wake up, every day we experience the world. Why do we experience it? It's because of the nature of the world. Okay, so Jivan Mukta status is a status where the Jiva knows I am Brahman. It is no longer a Jiva. The Jiva has dropped its Jivatvam. Jiva Bhava is gone. What is replaced is Brahma Bhava. Brahma Bhava, the moment you have Aham Brahmasmi, see, this is just a small notion in your mind. It displaces the Jiva Bhava. Jiva Bhava is what? I'm suffering. Today I've got to do all this work. See, the duties will continue. You will still experience the world. Again, I repeat, the sense organs will continue to show Dvaitam only because they are designed like that. So you will never experience Advaitam outside in the world. As even in your lifetime, you will never say that I have experienced Advaitam. You will only say my nature is Advaitam. Okay. So I hope I have answered both these questions. In case you are not, if you want to ask further questions on this too, you can unmute yourself and you can ask these questions. Okay. So Manikandan, I understand that you have no further questions. So Shanmugam is unmuting everybody now. You can now, if you have any other questions or anything to do with what we have discussed today. Yeah, anybody has a question?
Secretary, I have in continuation to this question.
Yeah,
In Brahman, we can see only the Ananda exists. So why we can say there is no sorrow? Is it because there is no object available, or
exactly. You given the answer. There is no sorrow because there is no second thing apart from Brahman.
okay?
Brahman means sajatiya, vijatiya, swagata, bheda rahitaha. It is no, there is no difference in that Brahman at all because it alone is. There is no second thing. So that is what I have to, that is what is my swarupam. That is what is my nature. But this nature of jivatvam is dvaita. This is where the sukham, the joy and sorrow comes. But knowing my nature, I can face this world better. Our
Thank you.
experiences, when they come to us, they will not create a jolt in our mind once I know that this is my swarupa. It is the nature of the world to give sorrow and joy. It will continue. I go through life, but with the with a uh, uh, with a complete cushion. Okay. All right. Bharat is saying, have I finished with you, Manikandan?
Yes, Secretary. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
All right. Thank you. Uh, Start with Asti, end up with Asmi, as it seems to similar to what Shankaracharya advised, Shruti and Yukti. Uh, Based on Anubhuti, reality is non-duality, Aham Brahmasmi. Yes, very beautiful. Yeah, see, what Bharat is saying is always start with Asti. Asti means I exist. First, I exist. Start with that. I means what here? Consciousness. World exists, body exists later. Only when I am there, world is there. This is very, very important if you want to know the truth and want to get moksha. This is very important. I am there. That is why I keep repeating. In sleep, I am there. All of us, without any doubt, you can say, I exist. Upanishad is asking you, what if that is your, if you come to know that that is your real nature, then what Upanishad says is take this as like a dream. Like, for example, see, the difference between a baker and a realized person is the jnani will take the waking experiences exactly like how a waker will take his dream experiences. You dream the whole dream world. You see, one of the fundamental doubts we all have is, I experience this whole world so solid. How is it possible that you everything collapses and then you say that everything is Brahman. Everything is ultimately higher nature is Brahman. For the world also the higher nature is Brahman. For Ishvara also the higher nature is Brahman. For the Jagat also the higher nature is Brahman. All the Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara, for all this, the higher nature is Brahman, mainly because of the fact that the Upanishad reveals Jiva Jagat Ishvara as Mithya. Like the dream is Mithya, everybody knows dream is a Mithya. It was there, it went away. Similarly, the entire experiences of our Jivatvam is, including the study of Upanishads, is Mithya. Shankaracharya is ultimately saying Veda is also Mithya. It reveals the truth and then it says that this is what is the reality. It reveals the truth. Veda reveals the truth. And then it says, now you are a free bird. You are muktaha. Your moksha is in your palms. What else you want? So every jnani, he is very grateful to Veda, very grateful to Bhagavad Gita, very grateful to Upanishads. Why? Because for several janmas, according to Veda, it says you have been searching for that truth. And now you have realized this truth, and that gives you total fulfillment in life. There is nothing beyond that. There's nothing more for you to, once your mind gets clicked with the small idea of I am that higher truth, then there is no more Jiva Bhava. It's only Brahma Bhava which continues for you forever. And that state is what is called as moksha. It's a very, I mean, I can continue on and on and on, but the Upanishadic study has got a structure to describe and reveal this moksha. So the more we study the Upanishad, the more clarity we will get. Good, Bharat. Thank you. Anything else?
Secretary,
Bolo, why?
earlier you were saying that Jhanis, they have seen Brahma.
They have not seen Brahman, but they have known Brahman. See, you cannot see Brahman. You cannot say they have seen God, but they know what is God's nature. That is the difference between Jnani and other religious people. You see, religious people will come and tell you, I have seen Krishna, I have seen in my life, I know, I've seen this Devata, that Devata. But when it comes to Jnani, Jnani means what? A person who knows the Veda, Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita thoroughly. He will never say, I have experienced it, I have seen God, but he will say, I know God. That is, know means knowledge. All of us are trying to know what is God. Okay, not try to see, because according to the Veda, they say you cannot see God like an object. But it is in my heart. It is there in me, it is there. And the only thing, the way to I can know that is by saying, I am one with that God. For you and me, what is the easiest way? I am one with that God. There is no difference between me and that God because we are one already. Not that I will become one after death, not I will become one after I study another 10 Upanishads. No. Today itself, you tell yourself, I am one with God, and live with that feeling. I am one with God. Don't have any difference between you, God, and the world. World will come and go, that is a different matter. But I am always one with God. Live with that feeling all the time. I am always there. And this oneness is what Upanishad reveals to us. Don't postpone your moksha for another date. Do it today. Right now, when you're living and breathing, you say, I am one with that ultimate reality. You may call it Krishna, you may call it Shiva, may call it Vishnu. These are all names. Shankaracharya accepts all religions. In his commentary on Bhagavad, and he says, I accept all religions because ultimately the Adhishtanam, the basis for all the religions is this Brahma Bhava. It is this pure consciousness. They all rest on this Ishvara. Okay, good question, Bhavai. Thank you.
So we say Shivoham, Shivoham.
Correct. Just say Shivoham. I am one with Shiva right now.
Oh.
Okay, so that's the easiest way to hold on to our teaching.
So we can meditate on that.
Correct, exactly. I am that higher principle. Even if you can meditate for 2 minutes, 5 minutes in a day, just let the thought come in your mind. I have heard so much of Bhagavad Gita and Upanishads. Let that thought remain with me. I am already one with that higher principle.
Thank you.
What about the body, mind? Let it go through its experiences. The children will give you some joy. Grandchildren will give you joy. Go through the experience of the body. That you and I can never stop, because it is the design of Ishvara. It is the design of God. This whole creation is a design of Ishvara. You won't have no control over it. Thank you. Shanta, you have a question?
Yes, thank you very much. And what I think it's more, I don't know. Okay, let me. It's a combination of few things which I want to ask, and they're all interrelated. Now, as you said, Shankaracharya accepts even the Vedas are mithya in the end. When you achieve Jivan Mukti, or you understand Brahman. So when everything is mithya and everything is known that it is mithya, then why have these Vedas given all these rituals, the pujas, the yajnas, and all of that? Now, that is first thing is, why is it linked to anything else, or into Jivan Mukti? And if we believe,
so can I answer that first? Can I answer that question?
Okay,
First question,
yes,
because then we'll go through all your layers,
Yeah.
So the first question is, if this is what is the world is false, why so much of rituals and all that? The answer given by Shankaracharya in Mandukya Upanishad is, he says that today the jiva is not ready to accept the Veda. In order to accept the truth which is revealed by the Veda, he has to purify his mind. For Chitta Shuddhi, the Veda has prescribed hundreds of methods. Karma Yoga, Upasana Yoga, then all the rituals, samskaras. You keep on doing this duty, keep on doing these rituals, keep on growing your mind. It is only for the sake of maturing the mind, all this is prescribed.
Yes, but
Once
then
then you take this knowledge, and then if your mind is able to accept this knowledge of non-duality of this world, that is the end of the teaching.
Yeah, but the thing is, my feeling is, if it is for Chitta Shuddhi, that is what I was going to actually say, that all this puja, vrat, or whatever we do, the yajnas, are for Chitta Shuddhi or Ekagra, there's Antakarana, Shuddhikaran, that all of that,
Yeah.
right? and we and all, but it is not, is it not again, you get to that stage of doing, say, annadanam or whatever, yajnas, is because of your prarabdha karma.
It is
And
also
if
because of
that
Quran.
is,
Yeah, it is right. Your answer to this question is yes. That is also because of prarabdha karma. Your prarabdha karma forces you to do certain yajna, certain rituals, certain duties in life, so that you can again grow in your mind, have chitta.
okay, so if this is true, that is, doing all these rituals and yajnas gives you the cleanliness or the, chitta shuddhi, then why are we not, why this Vedic and people who have understood, like Shankaracharya and others, and why do we still have a Vyavaharik life? Why is the life not just about, since our ancestors already knew that moksha is the ultimate goal of, or achievement of Brahman or Jivan Mukti, then w- instead of going through all of this, they could have just started. Why is you don't start teaching only Vedas and Upanishads, so that they can, because there is no way you can achieve moksha by just doing all this chitta shuddhi, because you
Okay.
have to ultimately have jnanam.
Yeah, here the answer is again come back to prarabdha. Again, you come back to what you have done in your previous lives. If in your previous lives you have the samskara of becoming a brahmachari at the age of 16, you will get your Veda and you will become free. If you have samskaras of being a grahastha or being in the society for certain period, you will go through that experience. You cannot run away from that experience. Why? Because of punya bhava. Your samskaras will rule your life predominantly. You may say, I have a willpower to change and all that, but predominantly it is samskaras, which, if your mind, which you have been carried away for birth after birth. Why some people come to Vedanta and some people don't ever come into Vedanta at all is because of samskaras, is because of past punya karmas. So that is where you have to understand why we don't start with Veda for all the children in their young. They are not interested.
No, but the child can be molded right
No,
from
no, you
birth,
cannot.
right?
You cannot mold a child. No, no, you cannot mold a child. To a certain extent, yes, you can. But a child also comes with its own prarabdha karma. Even if the parent pushes him to the well every day and say, "Come on, go and learn Gita," that fellow will run away. Because of samskaras only. Even in your own family, you can see that not everybody is the same.
Yeah.
You see, ideally, intellectually, what you are saying is correct. That right from the beginning, you only talk about Vedas to the children, but it doesn't happen in life because of samskaras.
Okay.
But,
So
but
now,
the opposite is also true. There are some children at the age of 6, they can chant the Bhagavad Gita. At the age of 9, they can chant the entire 18 chapters. How? We don't know. Opposite is also true. You try to push one child, it never comes. There is another situation where you don't do any pushing, but the child automatically is drawn and then he keeps on chanting. You go to YouTube and you will find there are children
yeah, I've seen, yeah.
who chant 18 chapters as if it was, you and I can't even chant 2 verses without looking at the book. But there are children who chant the entire 700 verses. It's all samskaras.
Okay, the last
So
question
whenever you
in this
analyze,
series.
whenever you see, this is a standard rule for everybody. Whenever you try to compare or analyze the world, always keep prarabdha karma as the answer which the Veda is providing. You see, karma kanda is completely the Veda Purva Bharga is completely is to do with the principle of law of karma. So whenever we try to analyze our experiences of the world through our sense organs, it is always you use the logic of Veda Purva, and which is law of karma.
Yes, but there could be a lot of people who would go and do adharma and say, oh, that is my prarabdha karma, that is why I'm doing it that way. But that cannot be true, is it?
No,
Because
no.
you have
Again,
that
yes, you are
intelligence
right.
to
You
think
see, correct.
yes or
That is
no.
where that is where your free will comes in, and there is a possibility of changing your lifestyle.
Mm. Okay. So anyway, coming to my
Yeah.
last section of this whole thing is when you keep listening to Upanishads, right? Your mind changes, as you said, becomes sattvic or becomes dharmic, and you start achieving this, understanding of this Brahman and all of that. Now, I'm just trying to understand by listening to Upanishads, if your mind has come with a prarabdha karma that okay you will be changing, or that will happen, operation will happen, and that is why you get to all these experiences in this world to make it happen, right? But what is that, what changes the mind? I mean, I want to know what sort of operation goes on in the mind that changes the mind in understanding from maybe from dvaitam to advaitam, or from adharma to dharma. And walking on this path of dharma, how does it automatically happen by just listening to Vedanta and Upanishad? What is that operation which goes on in the mind which changes it?
Okay, very good question. Extremely deep question. The answer to that is, see, our mind is uh, it's a mixture. See, it is a mixture of Samskrita mind, Asamskrita mind. I'm just using Sanskrit, but just to make it
Yeah,
simple,
yeah.
our mind is a very it is nothing but um, okay. There is a Vedantic explanation and there is a Laukika worldly explanation. I'll give you the worldly explanation first, because Vedantic explanation is slightly difficult to absorb, but I'll give that also. See, the worldly answer to your question is, I I have a mind, but the problem is this mind is not today pure. It is very, very gross. Therefore, my knowledge about this world, and therefore dharma, dharma, and all that, I have to go through that. There is an element of prarabdha karma, but there is always, remember, free will is also given to you. Prarabdha karma is one of the factors, but free will is the second important factor. You cannot run a life only by prarabdha karma, because all of us, we experience in life that I have a, that is why we say it is a tendency. We have a vasana. But whether I go with the vasana or I am able to control or stand back a little bit, that is your free will. So to come to this, that is the Laukika, worldly answer to your question. Do you have any answer, anything on that?
Yeah, but how does the mind just change by
Okay,
listening
now
to
I'll come to
Vedanta?
the mind changing part. See, what happens is ultimately what Veda says is knowledge defines you completely. Knowledge. It is the knowledge which is in the mind which defines who you are. Knowledge. Knowledge has got a very high pedestal, high position in Veda. Now, that is why Vijnanamaya Kosha is taken up to take up the study of this Veda. How does this transformation happens in the mind is something which you will realize yourself. I cannot explain to you because it is a very subtle process, but it happens. It is a very subtle process. What happens is, see, the Veda has got it deals with something which is beyond the mind. As long as you're holding on to the mind as a mind, you are in this laukika, the worldly life. Mind as a mind. Now I'm explaining to you how the Veda transforms you. What Veda says is, this mind which you are saying as my mind, my mind, my mind, it is a Shakti. It is the Maya Shakti. It is a power. Don't take it as a mind. Take it as a power. This Shakti belongs to Brahman. It belongs to that higher nature. It is a power. It is a Shakti in you. You are taking it as a mind. It is correct. Initially, all of us will take that Shakti as a mind only. And then we will try to go deeper and deeper, trying to understand it as the mind, about thoughts in the mind and making it empty. All that, we all go through that. But when the Veda tells us that now you have reached a level of understanding the higher truth, take this mind as Maya Shakti. It is Maya Shakti which is operating when you're seeing the world. It is Maya Shakti. Ultimately, it belongs to the Ishvara. It belongs to higher self. It does not belong to the world at all. That is why in sleep state, this mind is no longer there. That is because Maya Shakti is in operation. Maya can take the mind out of the body and it can put the mind back into this body next day morning when you wake. That is Maya Shakti. Maya Shakti, as long as you take the Shakti as the mind, then you are still in the worldly plane of Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara. The moment you, and this happens when, see, it is not my words which will change this, but it is the Upanishadic words which will do the transformation. Upanishad has the power. The words of the Upanishad has the power to transform your mind. No Jiva, no Guru has that power. It is the Upanishad which transforms your mind and says that now don't think that you are this mind and this body and this world. Don't think this is the reality. It is that Upanishadic words which tells you, it reveals the world of that pure reality.
So when we come to this,
it's a revelation. How does it happen? Through the Vedic mantra only. Mantra is the pramana. Like I'm seeing the eyes, I have ears, therefore I can hear. I have the Vedic mantra which has opened up my mind to that reality which none of the worldly sources can reveal. It's a very, very,
so when we come to the understanding that you have got when we listen to Vedanta or Upanishads or Brahma Sutra, we come to know that mind is actually a Maya Shakti, right? And it's not you, and it is a part of Brahman, or it is Brahman, or it is, one and the same.
Yes.
But is it not then contradicting the fact that your mind has a choice, or you have got some sort of flexibility to decide one way or the other, or to choose to, say, eat an ice cream or not to eat an ice cream?
No, at that level, there is no choice.
That's what I'm saying, that there is no choice at all.
No,
So
at that level of understanding the finer aspects of the truth, that it is Shakti. And then beyond that Shakti is this ultimate, the reality. It is
yes,
not,
but when you understand that,
it is experienced while you're experiencing the mind itself. At the same spot is this Brahman. It is not later, it is not afterwards, it is now. Right now,
Yes.
it is Adhishtanam and superimposition are at the same locus.
Yes. So what I'm saying is, say, for example, at this minute, I understand fully that the mana is actually Brahman or Maya Shakti, and it is Brahman. Then is it not, when I look back, say, for example, of few days ago, and I thought, oh, I had a choice whether to sleep a bit longer in bed or not, or to, do this or not to do this, and I chose the easy way or easy path, whatever, then that was actually, now that I know that that mind was also Brahman, or that was also Maya, I actually did as per my prarabdha karma. There was nothing I could do different. I couldn't have done anything different because it was my prarabdha karma. I've passed through the stages. I had to go through the steps to do all my karya, prarabdha karmas, to reach this point of understanding. So therefore, to think that you have a choice becomes also a mithya. It's also not true when you understand that you're Brahman. Is it?
Sure. Yeah, I accept this. So there are two levels. One is at the Vyavaharika level, one is at the Paramarthika level. At the Vyavaharika level, you will still say, I have a choice, I don't have a choice, prarabdha karma, and so on. All this with reference to your body, mind only. The moment you drop your identification, adhyasa, this superimposition, you drop it. The moment you say adhyasa is dropped, you ask the question, what is the basis of this adhyasa? What is the basis of this superimposition? That is pure consciousness.
Yeah.
Always pure consciousness exists. It's always there. Or see, there is one section in Mandukya Upanishad in the second chapter. 34 philosophers are analyzed. Second chapter, Mandukya Upanishad, from verse number 20 to 28, 34 philosophers are discussed. In the Upanishad, it comes. All the 34 philosophers are there. Nyaya, Vaisheshika, everybody, scientists, people who believe in so many different things. Shankaracharya writes only one line commentary on 34 views of philosophers. What does he say? All this is kalpitam, manaha. He says it is all projections of the mind. What Upanishad says is drop that and ask the question, that is, projection is mithya. What is the adhishtanam? He just says adhishtanam is only atma. Everything else, right now you're asking these questions, projections of your mind. Projections. For 9 verses, where in Mandukya Upanishad, the Upanishad Karika, second chapter, which talks about this mithya world. For 34 philosophers are taken up by this Gaudapadacharya, and what Shankaracharya says is all these are kalpitam, projections of the mind. Some people will say that this is Atma is of the nature of Anu, it is atomic in size. Some people will say it is bigger than the biggest. Some people will say Atma is nothingness. Some people will say, so he has given 34 philosophies. If you are interested, if you just go through this, the meaning of those 34 philosophers in second chapter in 9 verses, and ultimately what he says is, all of these philosophers have forgotten that these are all projections of their own mind, but what exists is Adhishtanam Brahman. Adhishtanam you can never get rid of. Whenever there is kalpitam manaha. Whenever there is doubts in the mind, always remember there is Atma. At the same time, right now, Atma is there. But still my mind is projecting. What I have to only say is drop the mind, accept the truth of the Veda. Bharat, you have been raising your hand for a long time.
Okay,
You
thank
have
you.
some things?
Hello. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it was just a comment to Shanta. She covered a lot of topics, and I absolutely don't believe that Vedanta can be forced onto anyone. People, they bounce through their lives, and at some point, what they're experiencing, they have to realize themselves that they are not overcoming their suffering in whichever way they're living, and at that moment, they, if based on karma or whichever way you want to phrase it, or an Ishvara's grace, they if they are fortunate, we are fortunate to be able to come to Vedanta. And it's only Vedanta that says, if you are experiencing something such as your suffering, you can't be your suffering. It's very, very clear. So I think this is used quite a lot in Mandukya Upanishad as well, that this notion of Syrian scene here in Vyavaharika reality, to see anything which is happening in your mind, such as should I go left? Should I go right? Do I have free will? Do I not have free will? All of those thoughts, feelings, emotions, they are all experienced. And just being able to accept that they are experienced, it's a dhyasa, it can be dropped. And you don't have to experience that support, you just have to know it. That was it, Shakarji. I just wanted to make
Thank
a small
you,
comment.
Bharat. Thank you.
Yeah,
So,
thank you, Bharatji.
thank you. It was a long discussion today, very deep discussions. I'm glad most of you could have benefited by it. It's good. We have a good group I'm sure you're all ready for Mandukya, because it requires a different state of mind to study Mandukya. It is very, very deep, extremely deep. But we'll give it a try. And we just keep on learning. That's all. Let the Upanishadic words come into us. Let my ears listen to them. What happens? How transformation happens? Let's leave it to God. That's all I would say.
Shakarji, I'd just like to add one more thing, and which is the fourfold qualifications. I think the fourfold qualifications: discernment, dispassion, the disciplines, desire, they are so important for something like Mandukya Upanishad, and for everything. And it's something, those fourfold qualifications is something that you can do throughout your waking experiences, whenever you can. It's something to be practiced.
Yeah, good. Thank you, Bharat. So we'll end today, and then we'll continue our study of Taittriya next week. Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank
you
you.
very much,
Namaste to
Mohan.
all. Thank you.
Good. Namaste.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Shakarji.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shekharji.
Thank you, Vijay.
Shakarji.
Namaste.